My name's Marta, and in this Red Gaming Tech video we've got a bit of an update. You may recall some time ago, and you probably do, given the big kerfuffle that I made myself, and of course made by many others, about the whole CSGO Lotto, Team Martin and Syndicate thing. Now, bit of an update if you need a refresher, or perhaps you somehow missed it, perhaps you were under a rock at the time. No judgment, I'm sure under rocks is lovely. But regardless, essentially they promoted a gambling site for CSGO called CSGO Lotto, and it eventually became known that they actually owned the website and they didn't disclose it. Now that in itself is bad enough, you know, they're promoting this gambling site, not bothering to say that they're making a ton of money off anyone who uses it, and obviously they were showing themselves winning when obviously they could easily skew things in their favour, that sort of thing, and obviously the fact that they were promoting gambling to a arguably young audience, you can kind of see the concerns, and obviously they just gave YouTubers everywhere a bad name by pulling this crap. So when they were being targeted by the FTC, everyone was like, okay, great, we're going to see some sort of result here, we're going to get some sort of precedent for this sort of thing not being okay. And obviously eventually more details came about thanks to the FTC investigation, and we learned that they paid other YouTubers, you know, anywhere between $55,000 to, you know, $2,000 to do the same. But that being, of course, promote the website, and they weren't allowed to say negative because, of course, not. Now, we don't know who was paid this money, and, you know, that would be nice, but it's not really relevant, I suppose. You know, the two people who own the website are obviously the target of the FTC investigation. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of outrage, rightfully so, and it's taken until now for the FTC to make its judgment, and unfortunately, it's probably not what most people wanted. They are going to face no penalty at all for their actions. So basically, they've gotten away with this scot-free. Now, the FTC have said that any further violations of non-disclosure from either of them will come with a pretty hefty fine, $40,000 roughly, for each infraction. And that's great, but, you know, they're obviously not going to do this again because they know they'd be caught and actually punished. But I do think it's a bit off how they haven't done it for this one. I mean, there's so many problems with what they did. It goes beyond just disclosure, as I already said. But this is their judgment, of course. And I have a bit of a statement here from the FTC spokesperson, Mitchell J. Katz, who said, quote, "The goal of the FTC isn't to be a punitive or draconian agency. We're here to educate customers about new markets." One thing the FTC has done since the CSGO Lotto case started is update their legislation on, you know, disclosure, blah, 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 blah. Because obviously, as with most sort of government rules, they're a little bit behind, like the internet and that sort of thing. But they have updated it. And I've got a further statement here from FTC exec Maureen Olhausen, whose name I probably just butchered. Quote, "Consumers need to know when social media influencers being paid or have any other material connection to the brands endorsed in their posts. This action, the FTC's first against individual influencers, should send a message that such connections must be clearly disclosed so consumers can make informed purchasing decisions." And yeah, okay, that's what we were hoping for, FTC, but you haven't done anything. If anything, this shows that you can blatantly disregard disclosure, encourage gambling in young children, and get away with it. So, yeah, you kind of got a bit of a problem there. You may recall, though, that over here in the UK, things are a little bit different. You may remember that I covered the story of Nepenthes, who was ordered to pay fines of about £91,000 for his site FUT Galaxy. And it was a similar case, no disclosure, gambling, blah, 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 blah. And basically he was actually made to pay, again, $91,000, and his business associate was also made to pay $174,000. So it's nice to see that obviously the UK Gambling Commission, which is, you know, essentially what this part of the FTC is in the UK, have cracked down a bit more on it, but obviously when it comes to the US, obviously they're very important when it comes to this sort of thing. You know, YouTube is obviously based in the US, so it's a little bit disappointing that we haven't seen anything. You know, I'm not expecting them to be sent to the poorhouse for this, but something would be nice because, you know, they did do the thing. That's not under question. They did the thing. I'd like to see them be, you know, at least cracked on the wrist for the thing so that no one else tries it. Again, this just says, hey, if you want to trick your young audience into wasting a load of money on your gambling sites because you showed yourself winning in a rigged video, have at it, because we ain't going to do shit. I mean, I'm getting a little bit sarcastic here, but can you really blame me? So, very disappointing, I think, for a lot of people. Just shows that the FTC is a bit toothless here, and we're not really going to see any change at all. Because while the FTC has updated their legislation, as already said, they haven't really done much more than send out a sternly worded letter to people violating it. So I don't think we're going to see this change anytime soon, unfortunately. I mean, yeah. Obviously, you know, this is just not only bad because, you know, they tricked a young audience. Even if the audience weren't young, this would still be bad. Like, the age thing just makes bad worse. Even if there were adults they were tricking, this would still be bad. And again, they just made every YouTuber look bad just by, you know, association. And obviously the fact that they can just get away with this, yeah. I'm kind of repeating myself a bit now, so I'm just going to say a little bit disappointing. Let's hope we don't see this happen again, but the answer is we probably will, because this has shown that the FTC ain't going to do nothing. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.